Now this should be working. You know what I've done? I've had to go public rather than for our members only. And so I've got to figure some things out. Good morning, everybody. There. Hey, Doug, it looks like it's working. The only problem is we've gone public now because for some reason the private will not let me, the private to members only will not allow certain things. So I've gone through it. It's got everything is clear, crystal clear. You toggle this switch and all of that, and you're fine. But for some reason, it wouldn't allow my live video to go out just to members only. Well, the video was going. I think Audrey was here. People were here. You could see me, but you could not chat in the chat room. So good morning, Teresa. Doug, good morning. Audrey's going to be coming in any second. There's Roger. And yeah, I see you now. But for some reason, the going live to my exclusive members only was not working on YouTube. It was not allowing me to, I think I was broadcast. I think you all saw me and could hear me, but none of you could chat. And I had all the right switches toggled, that everybody was allowed to chat, that it was going out to basic members and up. Everybody could see this. The chat was enabled, but it wouldn't work. So I've got to figure some things out this morning for the next time we do this, which I hope, yeah, you could see and hear me, Doug, but you couldn't chat. I couldn't chat either, but sometimes we could. I got in one chat message. Audrey got one in. Doug, you even got one in, I think. And then it stopped allowing people to chat. So sorry about that. There's something up with, I'm not doing something right. I'm sure it's human error, but there's only one way to do to go live. You toggle it. It's all the same windows. The only difference with this morning was I had to toggle the one switch that said it was for members only. And for some reason, it wasn't allowing me to do that. And so I'm not sure. Maybe YouTube got pissed off at me because I wrote a nastygram and said about the copyright stuff. Maybe that's it. But I didn't get an email, as far as I know, that says, hey, you can't talk to us that way. And it wasn't so bad. Yeah, see, I got no emails from anybody. So there you go. So let's move on from that. We're public now. So all of those of you who are members, and this was supposed to be your first members only live stream, I guess don't feel so privileged this morning. So anyway, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad everybody's here this morning. Did I see that Scott was here this morning? Scott Lowry? It must be. Yeah, there you are. I see you buried in there. And Audrey and Doug and Teresa and Roger. And there's a few others. I don't see you all yet. But the numbers are there. So just not sure who all's here. So welcome. If you're here this morning, this is about 19 minutes after I actually started at 6 a.m. sharp on the nuts. I started at 6 o'clock. And I was talking away, and the first person in was Audrey within a minute or so. And for some reason, it would not allow the members only chat. And it kept stopping it, and I don't know why. So I'll look into that. That's a tech issue because everything was toggled correctly. So I thought, what the hell? Let's just go public. So all of you members who joined to get your special privilege, well, this is it. And we had to open that privilege up to all the common folk as well. So I wonder what the poor people are doing this morning. So anyway, it's so early here, said Audrey. What are you doing up at 4 a.m., Audrey? Out there in California. Are you just up just for this show? So, yeah, you're usually sleeping, says Teresa. And, I wake up, as you all know, between 4 and 5 a.m. every morning. And so I thought, well, this shouldn't be too much of a stretch to get in here. I set it all up last night, and it was just ready to go. I just had to hit the button, go live at 6 o'clock, which is what I did. Bing, go live. And so did you all see an announcement that was sent? I'm curious, those of you in the chat room. Hey, Rock and Rhonda, good morning. Welcome to the exclusive members only morning video, just a lousy cup of coffee. And for some reason, the members only section, you could see and hear me, and you could occasionally get a chat message in, but the chat wasn't working. So I said, let's get out of here and let's go just live. So you all saw a message for this, correct? You saw the Facebook message, said Teresa, and that got you could see and hear me here in the live channel. You just couldn't chat. I see. And I don't know why that is, because everything was toggled correctly. Your comments were faint. What you were seeing there, the faint, they grayed out because they weren't being broadcast into the chat channel. And I'm not sure why that was. So anyway, what I wanted to do this morning, let's treat this right now at 6:22 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can plug in your appropriate time zones for that. 7:22 out east, 5:22 Mountain Time, 4:22 Audrey Roden time. And that's so plug in your own time zone. Here we are. We're chatting live. And I was going to go through and show we're going to do a little bit of news this morning. And I did that because I want us to... Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. And you know why I don't know what I'm saying? Because I'm doing two things at once, which I don't do well. All right. And so I wanted to go through some news this morning. I wanted to take a look at some headlines this morning. I wanted to maybe move the Spark Courage to mornings, where we could do that in the morning and get our juices going for the day. Instead of giving you Spark Courage and ways to be bold when it's time to go to bed. I'm going to be bold in bed. Well, as usual. But so this is the grand experiment. And we had a couple of issues this morning because the chat wouldn't work. That was really the only issue, was the chat was working really poorly. And although all the buttons were clicked right, and I keep repeating this for those of you who are coming in and just catching this, that we started promptly at 6 a.m. and the channel worked. You could see me, you could hear me. Occasionally, you could get one chat message in. Like Audrey got a hello came through, but nothing else would come through. And I would type something, good morning. And then I couldn't type more messages. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to find out why that's doing that. So good morning. The first thing I want to hit, let's hit a couple of headlines this morning. I don't know how many of you, now this is just headline news. I might opine a little bit, so don't look at it as political talk. I opened up the news, and the first news headline I see is a political issue. It's one about the election. And so how many of you don't have to say who you voted for. Are you tired of hearing about Trump's challenge to the election? Do you think that he has a right as the sitting president, as any candidate would, to challenge the election? And frankly, and don't take this the wrong way, none of us has a right to think he's in the wrong, because it's a constitutional right. Anybody who runs for president, if they want to challenge the election and can follow through with their challenge, they have a right to do so. And so it doesn't matter if it would have been Biden. I actually think if Biden had lost, he probably would have conceded. Even in a close race, he probably would have conceded, because I don't think, as much as he wanted to be president, I think that maybe he didn't want to be either. He got kind of kicked and dragged into this. But then again, sometimes he seems pretty sharp. Other times he seems like he's not there. He's reading the script. Would he have cared? Would he have been, oh, well, that was my fun third romp into trying to be president of the United States, and I'm old, and I think it's time to know it's over now. Accept it so the country can move on, says Teresa. There is that. Now, Teresa, in that, I don't want to put you on the spot. So, any Teresa and people who have the same thought about the election, no, it's over. Let's move on. Do you think our country and our election, our system of electing a president, can be tainted? Do you think that there can be, with all the anomalies that took place, and there's stark, raging anomalies that have never happened before, do you think that that indicates that there was something deeper going on? There was a deeper problem. There was a now I'm skirting conspiracy theory, but we've known by being people who look at history, all through history, uh, coups, if you will, have taken place. They've always been bloody. They've always been armed coups. It's always been the army. It's always been who holds the power with the army, and they can take over the throne. We've seen that hundreds of times in history. Can a coup take place in the modern era if you have the technology to change elections? There's a big question. So do you think it's not proven? Teresa said perhaps not proven. If that widespread would have been proven, or maybe they're in the process of proving that. That's. I'm only challenging you, Teresa, not to challenge you personally. Don't take that personally. I'm challenging the idea because I hear this every day. It would be proven. Let me ask you what kind. It's like I look at this whole election thing like the proof of ghosts, the existence of ghosts or spirit, the spirit world. You will have your skeptics out there will say, there's no spirit world. There's no such thing as ghosts. It's science. It's this and that. It's done and dusted. Get off of it. And then you have so much, a pile of evidence that exists that scientists and skeptics will never accept your evidence. Because they say that's not evidence. Getting somebody talking on a tape recording, that could be your stomach. I don't hear it. I've had a skeptical friend of mine. I will play him clear cut type A EVPs, and I'll play those for him, and he'll go, I don't hear anything. Now, does the mind shut that off? So we have many times we've got this mound of evidence about something, but there is such a hue and cry over in this camp that says, that's not evidence. That doesn't prove anything to me. So I saw a ghost, so I don't care what the heck the scientists say. There you are, field guy. I'm kind of the same way. I've had too many personal experiences. Now, science, you know what science will call that? Anecdotal experience. Well, that's your experience. Your experience can't trump the fact that I can't see it. Let's see. This mo diff than folks never accepting Obama or Bush. It's been going on. It's been going on for years. This MO, I think, is what you're saying, Teresa. And you're absolutely right. That MO has been going on for a long time. And nobody wants to accept. I accepted that Obama was the president. He won fair and square. That one was, it was almost almost a landslide in Obama's first election to office. You look when he ran against Mitt Romney. I remember sitting in the bar with friends. We were there to watch the election thinking Romney is going to trounce Obama in the second term. And you know what? We all know what happened there. Was that the second or was that the first? It was Romney against, it was McCain. McCain and Sarah Palin against Obama and Biden. That was 07, 08. And then in 12, it was, that seems mixed up to me. Maybe it was the other way around. I accepted Obama. I didn't like him. I accepted the fact that he was president. I never challenged that election. I never thought it should be challenged. I never even entered my mind. I didn't think, oh, they rigged the election. And I wasn't one of those who go, there ain't going to be, Obama's never going to be my president. And that's metaphoric to say somebody is not my president. If you're a citizen of this country and the guy was elected to office, you know what? He's your president. I don't care. People that were saying Trump wasn't their president. Well, yeah, he is your president. You just don't want him to be your president. There's a difference. Same thing with, what was the close election? Well, Bush and Gore. That was the other close election that I can see. Mitch McConnell said he would never support Obama, and we will block him in all he tries to do. Well, yeah, Teresa, I get that. That's politics. That's not what's going on now. You've got Trump and people who are huge supporters of Trump that believe that the election was stolen, and the country will go on. Biden will more than likely become president. There's going to be very little that can be done to change that, although there is a way that Trump could probably still win this election, and it's constitutional. The problem is you're going to make a lot of people pissed off if he takes that route in the Senate. That's a possibility. But with Obama, Mitch McConnell and what he said that he never, I was that way at the beginning too. I remember listening to Rush Limbaugh back in 2008 when, we're talking 12 years ago when Obama was elected. Rush said, he says, Obama is the president of the United States. He says, but I hope he fails. Now you hear that just as a comment, as a statement on its surface. And what do you have? You have somebody that wants the president of the United States to fail. And Rush went on immediately clarifying that statement, but that's all I ever heard from then on. Well, Rush wished the president would fail. This was the day after Obama got elected. And Rush went on and qualified what he meant by that. He says, I don't wish the man personal failure. He says, what I wish is that I hope his agenda fails, because why did we vote against him? We voted against him for the other guy because we believed that Obama's agenda was something that would damage our country irreparably. And so we said, I hope his agenda fails. I hope the president of the United States, the duly elected, rightful president of the United States, Barack Obama, I hope he fails at implementing his agenda. Because if he implements that, our country will be changed forever, and it will cause problems for our country. So that is what was meant. And there were a lot of people. I resisted Obama on almost every ideological point that he brought up. But I also said, and I'll repeat it here, I've said this before. I also said of Obama, I said, I will not support his political agenda. I will not support his political ideology. I'm on a totally different end of the spectrum from him. And so as a citizen, I don't support what he's doing. But I will support him as the president, the man in the office. And I even said, he's probably a very likable guy. I wouldn't mind having a pint or two with him and arguing politics, and then arm wrestle for the tab when we're done. I would have won. But at the same time, I didn't have to accept anything he did, and I hoped his agenda failed. Not for the ill of the country, but that if his agenda was implemented, it would hurt the country. That's the way, and that's kind of the way that I saw that at the time. Trump's the president until January 20th, when Biden is sworn in. Yeah, he is. But did you all know that it's possible, not probable, it's possible for Donald Trump to still win this election? There are a couple of things that could happen. They could do these recounts. Like right now, the first order of news. I was just going to do news this morning. Hey, coffee and news. Good morning. It's 6 a.m. And then we had all the chat problems, and so we had to redo this and restart this live stream. But the headline is the Georgia Secretary of State orders ballot signature match audit in Cobb County. And so Brad Raffensperger, he's a Republican, said his goal in ordering an audit was to make our elections accurate and to be secure, accurate and secure and believed by voters. Now, I don't think Raffensperger is a diehard Trump won this election, we're going to make it happen. He wants to make sure that because of all the challenge that's been going on, he thinks that this recount is going to show the ballot audit match is what they're doing for the mail-in ballots. And he believes that they will do this and that this will prove that the elections work. And Trump presses the hapless Georgia governor to overrule the Secretary of State in signature matching. Now that the signature matching has been attacked again and again with no evidence, it says, I feel we need to take steps to restore confidence in our elections, Raffensperger said. And starting immediately, we're pulling all our resources together with GBI to conduct a signature match audit in Cobb County. And you know what? And Donald Trump, what's his response to this? In a tweet, he said, what a fool Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia is. Could have been so easy, but now we have to do it the hard way. Demand this clown call a special session and open up signature verification. Now, otherwise, could be a bad day for two great senators on January 5th. So all of this, it's politics. It's winning the election. It's somebody knows in their heart of heart. I will guarantee you, Trump's not playing games. He believes and knows in his heart of hearts that he won. And that's why he's pressing this the way he did. Steve says, Scotty, I hear you, but just waiting for the other shoe to drop on the subject. Then this nation can friggin' move on. Either freaking the election goes. And I agree with you, Steve, but here's the interesting thing. New president doesn't take office until January 20th anyway. We are still in that lame duck, dead interim period between the election and when the new president would take office. And during this interim, if the president wants to challenge away. Now, and I don't see this as holding us up. I don't see this as anything other than a legitimate. If it was illegitimate, it would not be able to be carried on. Every aspect of this challenge that's still going on is a legitimate challenge to the election. Otherwise, the Constitution wouldn't allow for it to happen. And it would already be dead. Now, and about the only way anything, there's a couple of different ways I see the election outcome going. Number one, there will be a civil war. Now, that one's out there, but do you think it's impossible for the United States to have an armed civil war? We think ourselves to be so civilized that we wouldn't do that. But what would drive the United States to be at war with itself? I'm talking literal war. Have you thought about that? For 2 seconds, stop and think about that for a second. Now, I'm not promoting this idea. I'm not saying it should happen. I would be against that. I would take Joe Biden over civil war any day, because Joe Biden's a doddering old politician who's been in office for 50 years, longer than anybody should be in office. He's declining. I think Joe Biden should be at home, sitting on his porch, going fishing, gardening, playing with the grandkids and his dog, if he can keep from breaking his ankle. And I don't think that's so much an age thing unless his bones are more brittle. I broke my ankle slipping on ice a long time ago. Slipped on the ice, and all I did was twist my ankle under, and I heard it pop. And I broke my, it wasn't actually my ankle, it was about 2 inches above my ankle, my leg bone. That stuff happens. And what was I? That was 20 years ago. So I was 40. I think it was even before that. I think it was in my late 30s when that happened. So, all that to say, military 101, divide and conquer. That's what keeps happening here. Wake the friggin' up. Enough said. Just going to sit here and watch now. Steve, nothing to get upset about. We're just talking about this. I think there could be a military. Now, if there was a civil war, would that be a coup? Would that be a coup against Trump? Would it be a coup against Joe Biden? Now, let me ask you the question. Do you see nations around the world in the current day taking part in coups, a coup d'etat? Yeah, we see it all the time. We see armed insurrections in other countries all the time. The only thing that has kept us from doing that in over 150 years since the Civil War is the fact that we are a constitutionally limited republic. We have freedom. We have democracy. We are not a democracy. We have democracy. What has prevented us from going to civil war? We have laws to abide by. Now, here's the big question. Is Trump, in questioning the election and doing everything he can to prove that it was an erroneous election, to prove that it was fraud, by doing that, is he stepping outside the bounds of the Constitution? No. He has a right to place these challenges up. Now, we can get sick of it if we want. People cannot like it. We cannot like Trump's challenge the way we didn't like having Obama in office, or Bush in office, or Reagan in office, or whoever disliked. Doesn't matter if you dislike it. It's legal. He can make his challenge. You can say, I was so tired of this. Well, we're all tired of it, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Either way, it's historical. You're watching history unfold before your eyes. So don't sweat it. Don't let it get to you. Steve says outside countries are just waiting to move into this nation. They're waiting for this nation to fall to the. You know what I think would happen? If we were invaded, that would settle it all right there. If somebody tried to move in, but I think it's not as clean cut as a military attacking us anymore. I don't think China's going to fly planes in here, even though Trudeau has given them military exercise. Let them do those up in Canada. You know what I think is going to take over this nation? It's going to happen from the inside out. It's going to happen. China knows what to do, and they've already been doing it for 20 years. How long can this nation stand if there is internal war that's already going on, and we're already being chiseled away at? So China's just waiting. Yeah, they are. China's waiting. They're patient, and they're waiting. And you know what? What do you think would ever cause an armed conflict, an armed all-out war between the United States and China? Is that going to happen? What happens, and what will that look like? What will be the aftermath of that war? Who will win that war if that ever happened? Does China want to destroy America? No. Does China want to own us? Yeah. And I've always asked myself, let's take a step back. Why do nations want to control other nations? I don't think China wants to control us just so we say we have all the American citizens under our thumb. No, I think it's economic. I think they want to own the world. So what do you do when somebody wants to do that? Is it the evil empire against the old republic? The United States may have its problems, but in the way I look at it, we're like the old republic in Star Wars, and China is the Darth Vader in the evil empire. They've got now they don't see themselves that way, but what's their purpose? Why would they want to go to war with us? Teresa says, I'm trying to see small text. Don't mean to use. Oh, sorry. Okay. That's all right. Caps. That's okay. You guys type the way you need to type. Or increase the type size. You can increase your window size on your computer, unless you're on your phone. That might be different. So I hate, by the way, typing on my phone. So, it's a pain in the ass. It's not so much China as it is the CCP, says Matt Finn. Hey, good morning, Matt Finn. Good to see you. And Matt, and those of you, Mary Bell, good to see you. For those of you coming in, this is a public morning show. It was supposed to be, I'm going to announce this now that we have a bunch of people here. I was here at 6 o'clock. We started the show 6 sharp. Boom, we were there. We were on. Coffee in hand. And for the couple of people who trickled in at right around 6:01, 6:02, we were finding that the chat wasn't working. And I had to go in live, and I was going in and editing a couple of things, seeing if I needed to edit anything. And the way the show was put up, everything was toggled correctly. It was a members-only show. This is one of those shows. This is one of your perks, guys, for being a member. We'll get it worked out. So if you're not a member, I'd like you to join. Go over and join. We're going to have more of these and other kinds of videos. Rainey and I have got some paranormal investigating lined up that we're going to do. That'll be members-only videos and things like that. But so if you're here and it's public, welcome to everybody. I'm glad you're all here. Even if you're not a member. But this is a members-only show that wasn't working technically, so that's why we opened it up to the public, so we could just get it done and do it. And so, hey, Carly, good to see you here. I'm glad you're partially awake. So where I was leaving off is, and I don't want to get into this too deeply and get too off the main track, do we live in this kind of la-la land as American citizens? That war could never take place here? Maybe we're seeing more and more since 9/11 and the way we've been conditioning ourselves for the last 20 years. We are open to the possibility that we can be attacked. And so we've been bumping up our military, we've been bumping up our home defense. But then you got people on the left that say, why are we spending so much money on defense? It's like, you idiots, you ignoramuses. That is what the federal government is supposed to do. It's supposed to defend the nation. That is their job. And whether you like it or not, we need to develop better technology to be on top to defend this country from foreign and domestic invaders. That's what we're supposed to do. I'm not sure why you didn't get a notification, Steve. That's weird. And you're not a member, and so you were able to access this is not the members-only show. It was supposed to be, and I had to change it to open to everybody because we couldn't get the chat room to work in the members-only show. So I got to look into the technical stuff. So there'll be more shows like these that are members only, but I'm glad you're all here. Maybe this is a good way to re-announce that to everybody, is this is one of the perks that you will get. We're going to start doing this morning coffee show. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be every day, but I'm up and awake every day. So maybe we can do this for an hour in the mornings. And see, it's already 6:49. In about 10, 15 minutes, I gotta go and get my kids ready for school. Rainey's gonna up there, probably already waking them up now, because we got to be out the door at 7:30, and which is 40 minutes from now, to take my kids to school. And so these morning shows are only going to last 6 to 7 in the mornings when we do them. So let's not waste time on that. Rainey already made her statement that it will not be every day. Yeah, she did say that, Roger. Not going to be every day. But this is kind of the way it is. I'm usually down here, and the alarm goes off at 6:45 upstairs. She starts waking up the kids. It's slow going. And by 7, I insert myself, and I yell up to the balcony. I yell up, everybody wake up there. Time to go. Let's get rolling. We got a half an hour. And nobody needs help getting dressed, but we always have to help them find something or do. You know how it goes if you're a parent. So here it is. The presidency could be won by Trump by, let's say there's a civil war. That's a possibility. What's another possibility? There are the dueling electors. Do you know what that is? That is where you have electors from states that will come in. And from some of the states, they'll send electors that will vote for one side and electors that will vote for the other. And this shows that there is a challenge to the election. And then what happens? That goes in the beginning of January, that goes to Congress, that goes to the Senate. And the Senate casts the vote on whether or not which person they're going to elect to office. And who's the tiebreaker in that situation? It would be the vice president of the United States, Mike Pence. Which way is he going to vote if it comes to that? Now, that's an extreme case, but that is something the Constitution allows to have happen when there is a deep challenge to an election. It allows for that to happen. And if there are enough electors and the vote goes in the Senate toward the president, what do you think is going to happen? Trump will stay in office. You're going to have a lot of pissed off people. Then you got to worry about civil war from the other side, who's already proven that they're willing to go to violence over things. I have yet to see conservatives burning down cities of their neighbors. You get some groups that the left will call conservative groups that attack people and do stuff like that, the poor boys and all that. I don't see the poor boys as attacking people unprovoked. However, I do see, and there's a better way to say that. I'm just doing it because we're running out of time already. I'm just saying that could you see a civil war either way? Yeah. Somebody's not going to be happy either way it goes. But I will tell you this. I'll tell you what I said already a month ago. I said, if it turns out that these challenges don't work, that there is no evidence that a court will support, there's evidence. There's plenty of evidence out there, folks. It's whether or not a court is going to allow it by law, by points of law. Can you have something lose on points of law that we all know to be true? It's like ghosts. Go back to that analogy. By points of science, can you prove that a ghost exists? No, but you know they do. You can't prove it. Why is there still such a big question about ghosts? Because some people don't accept the evidence. Is there evidence that the election was tampered with? Hell yes. But you aren't going to convince people. And then it comes to, and no offense to anybody, I'm not talking about anything anybody said here. You get the argument, I'm so tired of this. Can we just get it done? He won already. Give it up. I think that's capitulation. I think our system is built to have challenges like this when they're necessary, to make and ensure that the system works. And if we find flaws in it, what's going to be, if there are no flaws in this election, out of all these challenges, all the things they pointed out, then there's nothing to improve, folks. From the moment that this challenge is put to bed, why would we want to look to improve elections if there's nothing wrong happened? So that should put that to bed too. Our elections work just fine. So there you go. And I don't think anybody believes that. That's where I come up with the pull this leg and it'll play jingle bells. So, folks, no matter where you sit on this issue, use your common sense. That's all I would encourage you to do. Even me. It doesn't have to support your point of view. Common sense might lie outside your point of view. It might lie outside of mine. Does common sense say Donald Trump should give up his challenge to the election? Well, he almost did. Then he had other supporters that came in and say, no, look at this. This is what is happening. And it kind of reinvigorated him. It's not all Trump. It's a lot of people that believe that this election was stolen and they believe they have the evidence. So you let it play out. You watch the history unfold. You opine on it, and then we move on. And we will more than likely have President Joe Biden on January 20th. And you know what? We move along. And things will work just fine. So common sense means accepting the outcome of our process. Right. What if our process is flawed, Teresa? What if people have found flaws in the process? What do? Our process worked when we had poll taxing. Then somebody said, that's wrong. You can't do poll taxes. Everybody's vote should count. So, yeah, well, no, don't capitulate and say, well, whatever, Biden won. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. We'll know when the outcome of all of this clears, if they prove it or don't prove it. We can fix anything. Why fix it? If it's not broken, if Biden won, then it's not broken. It's not broken, right? If all this evidence is not really evidence of fraud, then there's nothing to fix, right? So we move on. There's nothing to fix. The election happened just fine. It worked just fine. It's the way it's supposed to work. The challenge is even just fine. You know why? Because the Constitution allows it. If you don't like that, then go ahead and rally and stand for changing the Constitution, so no presidential candidate can ever challenge the election again. That's the way I view it. So we can fix anything moving forward. We have a country torn. Yes, we do. That's an emotional issue. The torn country is emotional. The mechanics is constitutional. We can wrap our emotions around anything, good or bad. Whether we agree with it or disagree with it, we all get our emotions wrapped up in it. So the question is it by the letter of the law wrong? That's the question we can all look at and watch it to be played out. To run, not torn. Okay. I missed something in there, so it's okay. I do typos all the time. I probably misspeak more than I think I do. And Epstein didn't kill himself. Yeah, there you go, Doug. Thanks. Biden got 16 million more votes than Obama ever got. And Obama, they say, won by a mandate. Donald Trump got almost 12 million more votes than Obama got when he was reelected to president. Trump got 12 million more, and he still lost. People say, well, that's just because more people had mail-in votes and more people voted. Well, is that the truth? Did more people actually vote? That's what they're challenging, the anomalies in the process. So, and you know what? That's a good thing. All of you who want this to be over you know what? You should be supporting the president making his challenge. You know why? That shows that we are a free country. It shows that we are a constitutional republic. It shows that you can't just declare something and hope to never be challenged. He's being challenged because some people believe that there were anomalies in the election, and they're going about trying to prove it. If they can't, Biden will become president. If they can, Trump will remain president. So it's still up in the air. We'll see in about a month. We'll see where we're at. Hopefully it'll all be settled. So I have personal opinions about who should be president. You know that. I have my personal misgivings, but I've already in the back of my head said Biden's going to be the president. So how do we go about? We survived Obama 8 years, kind of. Maybe we didn't. Maybe there's an erosion that's set in. Did we survive Bush? Did we survive Reagan? What is the erosion that's underneath the scenes that's taking the ground out from under our feet bit by bit? Will we be a nation in 50 years? When my children have grandchildren, will the United States exist anymore? That's a big question to ask. And part of the reason we can exist is because we can allow for a candidate to challenge an election, because it's in the Constitution. So there you go. So do we go through this every election? No. I don't think every election is like this election was. You look at the last 4 years and tell me that this was not being built up to for 4 years because of the challenge. Well, Trump legally won. Should we change the election laws? We got people that want to do away with the Electoral College now. There's probably pros and cons for both. I'm against doing away with the Electoral College because then you basically have, and you've heard this argument before, but when it comes down to it, you've basically got New York and Los Angeles and Houston and Atlanta deciding the election for you, and nobody else has a voice. Doesn't matter if the rest of the country votes, as long as those cities vote. And those cities, well, maybe are we then getting back to what the founders once said? You can't vote unless you own property. That's what they wanted. We still push to have everybody vote. So should the farmers who own property in Montana have as much voice as the people who own property in the cities? And that's why the Electoral College exists, without getting into it. So there you go. And I don't mean this discussion to be political. I want this to be more civics, more a discussion like this should be one of let's all look to common sense. And I can express my opinion about the election, but at the same time, I'm going to tell you that I think common sense, we hope common sense prevails. Now, common sense, does that spill over into our political ideologies? Yeah, for us on emotional levels. And maybe some on not so emotional levels, factual levels. But at the same time, there's a common sense that has to pervade over the whole thing. And the common sense, when you step back out of the box and you look back in, you say, what is our country? How does it operate? It operates on the Constitution. Are there times we need to change that? Yes. When was the last time we ratified the Constitution to make a change? We've tried. There were those who wanted the Defense of Marriage Act. They wanted the Constitution of the United States to say, to be ratified, to state in an amendment that marriage was only between a man and a woman. Now, you may believe that is right. You may believe that's wrong. That's the emotional side of that. When it comes down to the black and white, should we have made marriage a part of the Constitution? And thank God we did not. And thank God the founders built the Constitution in such a way that to ratify it is a hell of a lot of hard work. They did it that way for a reason. So you cannot change the Constitution willy-nilly. Right now in election law, the Constitution is clear. So if we don't want a presidential candidate to be able to challenge an election, you have to ratify the Constitution. Or just make it very clear you don't want that guy in. So, Newsom, don't get me started. Term limits on all of them in the House, Senate, and the Congress. If the president has to have 2 terms, why doesn't the Congress? That's a good question, huh? Why is somebody like Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell, why have these people all been in office for decades? Getting rich off of what they're doing. So there you go. All right, folks, it's after 7. We've run a little overtime. Sorry that this morning didn't work the way it was supposed to work, the mechanics of it, but I'm sure glad you're all here. And I could go on for another hour, but I won't. And we've got a show to do for tonight. And so we'll see you back here at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. East Coast Time, and 7 p.m. West Coast Time, when hopefully you're all a little more awake than you are now. But you all seem like a lively bunch over there. Wait a second. Roger said, aren't we considered a tyrant if we don't support our current leader? Yeah. Well, it's kind of, are we a tyranny? No, a tyranny would be, that's another subject. We'll tackle that one next time. We'll see if I can get this fixed, we'll try another grand experiment tomorrow morning. And this is, so thank you for being here. Thank you for those of you who are members who have joined this channel. And this was your first members only video from the lowest membership up to the top. Everybody should have been able to see this. This wasn't supposed to be open to the public, general public. No offense to those of you who are here this morning. We had to go live just to fulfill what I said we were going to do this morning, because the private for members only wasn't working. So if you haven't had a chance, please go over, hit the join button, look at the different memberships we have. $2, $5, $15 per month. and you'll see how those all break down and the perks you get for them. So thanks for being here, everybody. You have a great day. I hope you had a chance to have your coffee, and this will go down in history as our first Just a Lousy Cup of Coffee show. And we won't do this every day, but we'll do it more often than not. We might try to be back tomorrow, depending on how the morning goes. Nobody's up before this time in my house anyway, so it's not until right now that everybody's rolling out of bed. So I got to go help get my kids to school. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you back here tonight. Thanks for being here. I love you all. Good day. Well, as soon as I hit the end button and actually hit it. Bye.